Look at this map. At its peak, the Roman Empire stretched across millions of square miles, from the moors of Britain to the deserts of Syria. Moving legions across those distances presents a massive biological problem. How do you hydrate 50,000 men marching through arid terrain without causing widespread dysentery? And how do you feed a city of 1 million people when refrigeration doesn't exist? Rome's most persistent and deadly enemy wasn't a foreign army, it was food rot. To survive, they mastered the chemistry of preservation. They built a massive chemical arsenal out of 4 specific pillars: wine, vinegar, salted cabbage, and fish sauce. To conquer the world geopolitically, the Romans first had to conquer the chemistry of decay. When a Roman legionary marched across a hostile environment, their daily survival depended entirely on the liquids they carried. Their primary source of hydration was a drink called pasca. This ceramic vessel is an acetabulum, a staple of Roman life used to hold vinegar. By mixing that acidic vinegar with stagnant local water, the acid killed off waterborne pathogens, making it chemically safe to drink. This hydration strategy helped maintain a disciplined, sober military. While Roman culture viewed the excessive consumption of undiluted wine as barbaric, pasca provided a standardized way to keep soldiers functional on long marches through territories with questionable water supplies. To fend off scurvy and malnutrition on long campaigns, the Roman legions relied on another simple chemical reaction. They packed raw, chopped cabbage into earthen vessels with salt, letting naturally occurring lactic acid bacteria ferment the raw vegetables. This was the direct ancestor of modern sauerkraut. By hacking the fermentation process, Roman forces could outmarch and outsurvive their opponents, removing disease as a barrier to their geographic expansion. Back in the cities, civilians relied on a different fermented staple. Every Roman table required garum, a highly pungent fermented fish sauce. Making garum safely required precise biology. Producers packed the highly perishable guts of anchovies, mackerel, and tuna between exact layers of salt, then left them to ferment in the sun for months. Too little salt, and the mixture rotted. Exactly enough, and it broke down into a safe, nutrient-dense liquid. Economically, this was brilliant. The Romans took worthless scraps from the fishing industry that would normally be discarded and processed them into a highly caloric, shelf-stable, umami-rich condiment. The industry operated on an industrial scale. Look at these tightly packed, encrusted amphorae. These standardized bulk shipping vessels, stamped with merchant emblems, trace export routes from Pompeii to the far edges of the known world. Garum evolved into a lucrative industry that tied distant, newly conquered tribes into a unified Roman economic network. Wine served a similar expansionist purpose. Roman merchants pushed deep into Gaul and Germania to trade wine with local Celtic and Germanic tribes, establishing economic dominance before the military even crossed the border. To guarantee a steady, local supply chain for troops stationed as far away as Britain, Rome established highly productive vineyards in newly conquered territories. This is the origin of the famous Grand Cru vineyards of Bordeaux. The volume of this liquid trade is hard to comprehend until you look at Monte Testaccio. This is a mountain composed entirely of millions of broken ceramic amphora shards, the physical waste of a city's staggering consumption. But mass-producing and transporting wine introduced a deadly chemical flaw. To preserve aging wine and mask any spoilage, vintners frequently sweetened their batches using a substance called sugar of lead. Look at this piece of ancient Roman infrastructure. These are lead water pipes. Between the toxic sweetener poured directly into their wine and the lead pipes distributing their water, the population slowly poisoned itself over generations. The very same systems that scaled the empire's liquid economy also introduced a persistent toxic blind spot, turning a logistical triumph into a systemic health crisis. The political framework of the Roman Empire eventually collapsed, but their supply chains survived. Take a look at this map of modern Europe. You can see the geographic boundaries of famous wine regions like Bordeaux, areas famous for sauerkraut, and historic centers of vinegar production. Now, watch what happens when we overlay the ancient Roman military borders and trade routes directly on top. The geographic overlap is exact. The legacy of Roman grape cultivation, salting, and vinegar fermentation permanently embedded itself in the local cultures of France, Germany, and beyond. Even garum finds its modern parallel in humanity's ongoing global reliance on shelf-stable, umami-rich fermented fish and soy sauces. Modern European cuisine provides a fossilized map of ancient Roman military logistics, originally engineered to keep an empire from rotting.